In today's episode, a game all about beating your wife. Nah, I'm only joking. It's actually about breaking into someone's house, causing hundreds of thousands of dollars in property damage, and assaulting the owner and residents because of your overconfidence on working out a shortcut on your hike. Grabbed by the Ghoulies was developed by Rare, a studio that brought you small unknown hits like Banjo-Kazooie, and Banjo-Kazooie. The game was released in 2003 on the original Xbox to mediocre reviews and very underwhelming sales numbers. I remember this game really fondly from my childhood, and after picking up a Rare replay on Xbox Game Pass, I decided to replay through it and see if it's really as good as I remember it being. You play as Cooper, a teenage scaredy cat with unexpected talents in the art of self-defense. See my opening statement. Out for a hike with the real victim of the plot, his girlfriend Amber. After attempting to take a shortcut, you shelter in a large mansion after realizing you're totally lost after the sun sets. However, because of Cooper's total lack of awareness of his surroundings, Amber is kidnapped by ghosts? Gargoyles? Ghost gargoyles? The phantom virus from the hit animated movie and video game Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase? After venturing into the manor, you have to fight the Jinjos from Banjo-Kazooie. Wait, I know what you're thinking. It's just a coinkydink. But no. References to Banjo-Kazooie are all over the place. Paintings all over the mansion, in the storybook, references to the infamous stop and swap feature, dog bowls, the head mounts on the wall of the second stage, fertilizer, hell, even the antagonist of the game has Banjo-Kazooie pajamas on. And it doesn't stop there. In Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, there's a trash can filled with copies of Grabbed by the Ghoulies referencing all of the unsold copies due to poor sales numbers on launch. Well, anyways, this first stage serves as a sort of mini tutorial teaching the basics of fighting and using weapons. The control system of this game is super tight. For the most part, the controls are pretty standard for most third-person games, with one small change. You use the triggers to rotate the camera and the right stick to fight. Flick the stick in the direction you want to attack, and you kick, punch, elbow at whatever's in your way. This combat system just feels really good. It completely eliminates the issues of a lock-on based combat system like Zelda by allowing you to attack in any direction at any enemy you want, simply by flicking the analog stick in that direction. Although the combat itself can sometimes fall a little flat due to it mainly being a 4-hit combo system for most enemies, the enemy types are what really shake this up. In terms of actual enemy variety in this game, it has imps, fire imps, ninja imps, flying imps, haunted chairs, haunted televisions, haunted doors, haunted coats, haunted paintings, mummies, cursed mummies, zombies, zombie pirates, vampire chickens, vampires, skeletons, spiders, suicide bomber worms, Medusa, hunchbacks, warlocks, whatever the fuck this is, and a fucking Grim Reaper. Each enemy has its own gimmick. The skeletons can use weapons against you, the mummies can only be damaged by fire, hunchbacks only take damage from the front, not a single enemy is a reskin of another, and that really keeps things fresh. That's not to say that every gimmick is good or fun, like the cursed mummy for example. This fucking bastard, when left alone for too long, summons a skull that'll just float his way towards you, and upon making contact, curses you, giving you 20 seconds to either exit the stage or kill the mummy, or else you just fucking die. It's lame as fuck. Going back to the tutorial, unfortunately the game can be a little handholdy at times, often stopping the gameplay for one of the NPCs to explain to you what everything means. To the game's credit, it will give you an entire level or a set of levels based around the new mechanic to experiment and really get a good feel for them without intruding further than that initial dialogue, but it's a little annoying. Unfortunately, this handholding problem was sorta unavoidable, since one of the major gameplay elements are the different challenges you will face per room. Most of the time you come to a new room, a challenge will begin that you have to beat in order to progress to the next room. This can be anything from defeating all the ghoulies, finding a key, or just surviving for a certain amount of time. That's pretty run-of-the-mill stuff, but where the system really shines are the additional requirements thrown at you. When a challenge begins, you'll see a bunch of symbols pop up on the screen which indicate your goal, and then any additional requirements that you must honor. This can be anything from not causing damage to the room, not killing a certain enemy type, having to alternate the enemies you kill. If you fail your objective or break any of the restrictions, you summon the Grim Reaper. He's an unkillable foe who will hunt you down and give you the good old soul suck. But this isn't always a bad thing. You can use the Reaper to your advantage to kill tough baddies, or an enemy that would otherwise be invincible. Or you could just boot the fucker out the window. Yeah, I'm not joking. This is the only way to kill him in a stage once he's been summoned. After chasing Amber through several rooms, you finally find her in the basement. You entire and ta-da! Game's over, roll credits. But Baron von Ghouls, a resident mad scientist, shows up to crash the party and turns Amber into Gruntilda. And now we've come full circle. Anyways, Cooper is told to speak to the manor's cook, Ma Soupswell, who tells him that in order to turn Amber back, he needs to collect a few special ingredients from throughout the manor's grounds to brew a potion. During this time, we are introduced to the rest of the friendly cast. We have Mr. Ribs, the cook's aide, an objective best character for his boyish charm and his voice. Hagrid's Scottish cousin, who also wound up as a groundskeeper. and Babs Buffbrass, the maid, who I still can't figure out if she's in her mid-20s or her mid-40s. Each of these characters, with the exception of Mr. Ribs, has a tool they give you to make your time a little bit easier. Cribbins gives you a candle used to light mummies on fire and is hardly ever used. Hagrid gives you the Holy Super Soaker, which is exactly what it sounds like. This water pistol has the strange ability to melt zombies, and was likely used to harm the cut vampire class enemies. He also lends you his pride and joy, Ol Edna, which shoots garlic, I think. Either way, it's the only thing barring the Grim Reaper that can damage vampire chickens and vampires in coffins. Babs lends you the soda can gun and then constantly bitches at you for making a mess. I mean, it's a soda can gun. It's kinda gonna be that way. Anyways, this weapon is S tier. While you have it, practically nothing can touch you due to its high knockback and high damage. Even the Reaper can be held back indefinitely with it. Ma gives you a fire extinguisher used solely to combat fire imps. You don't really see it very often. Some of these weapons kind of seem like an afterthought. Some of them don't really get very much use, maybe just 1 or 2 stages, or they only have one real purpose when you do have them. Ma's second contribution is a little bit different. She left her famous soup scattered all over the mansion, which serve as the game's health pickups and power-ups. Unfortunately, though, leaving some cans of soup with questionable abilities in a filthy manner for prolonged periods of time has consequences. A citation from the health inspector, and some unwanted side effects. Consuming the soups with the little ghosty guy above it acts as an anti-power-up, making you move and attack in slow motion, reverse your controls, or even temporarily set your health to 1. The former two are usually just inconvenient minor setbacks during a fight, but the latter one is a real bitch. You'll be kicking ass with 50 health, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're at 1 health, and you take a single hit killing you. This can be super fucking annoying. There are steps you can take to avoid this. When entering most rooms, you'll be given time to explore your environment a bit. You should be using this time to identify weapons and... in order to unearth soups and additional weapons. Occasionally, this also uncovers enemies that you can take care of before the challenge starts. And if you consume the bad soups before the challenge, you can eliminate the variable of picking one of these up during a brawl. After collecting the ingredients for the potion to cure Amber, you administer it to her in a very questionable fashion. Who is this joke for, Rare? Your game is rated E. Think of the children. Turns out, Ma put the wrong pepper in. Why is his face cream seasoned? And how the hell did you miss the giant fucking X on the grinder? Whatever. This completely avoidable mix-up turns Amber into a fucking Hulk. And now you actually have to beat up your wife. Well, in reality, she beats the shit out of you because this boss fight is brutally unfair. Amber is way faster than you, and her only attack flings you across the room, but the animation for getting back up is so goddamn long, she's already right back in your face. So she just basically stun-locks you to death. Your only chance is to grab the speed and Mini Cooper power-ups at the start and rush for a weapon to finish the fight before the Mini Coopers are done distracting her. The game only really has 2 boss fights, this one and the Baron at the end, and I guess the Haunted Doors and Hunchbacks, but they're more like mini-bosses. That's one main criticism I have of this game is the utter lack of bosses, but I'm almost glad there aren't more just because this one with Amber is so bad. The one with the Baron is alright, but we'll get to that. When you defeat Amber, Ma arrives with the corrected potion, and you cure Amber. But before you can catch your breath, you and your damsel in distress go to make your exit, but you're given a proposition. If you defeat the Baron and get his skeleton key, you can free all the other kidnapped children you've seen scattered throughout the mansion. But to do that, you have to find 3 spells in order to remove the barrier in front of the Baron's quarters. This feels kinda odd, not a place, but whatever. Anything to move the plot forward, am I right? For this moment, the game's pacing was pretty consistent. Most stages could be done in 1 try, or if you failed, it would usually only require 1 more attempt before you completed it. This final chapter of the game is all over the place. Some stages are laughably easy, and others are so hard you'll tear your fucking hair out. This is partially due to a new enemy being introduced, the Jesse and Clyde. These fuckers are the bane of my existence. They sort of prance around the stage, which encourages a sort of stealth playstyle, which didn't exist before this moment, so it feels really out of place. But they're kinda, don't fuck with them and they won't fuck with you dealio, but fuck with them you often must, and boy do they fuck back. They're basically a slightly toned down version of the Amber Hulk boss, where they are faster than you and will pick you up and throw you across the stage, doing a lot of damage. They also have a secondary attack that, for whatever reason, they really only use on this one stage, that will essentially scare you, making them even more of a pain in the ass. Fortunately, in most of the stages they're in, Rare lazily programmed them to only go in certain areas, so you can really abuse this boundary just to cheese them. But there's one stage that really gets my goat more than any other. In Crackbot's laboratory, you're tasked with getting 2 keys, one from breaking the environment and one from a monster. Pretty standard, but oh wait, there's 4 Jesse and Clydes. This is the stage I talked about where they use their secondary attack, and they use it constantly. Really annoying. It's a constant barrage of noise and screen shake, not to mention getting caught by one basically spells the end of the stage. Did I mention the monster containing the key is a vampire, meaning you have to summon the Reaper to kill them, adding another layer of challenge? There's a few things to help you on the stage, but you essentially just have to get lucky. Dr. Crackpot shows up to finish you 2 off once and for all. But with the ballsiest move of all time, Cooper sticks his finger in the gun Looney Tunes style, and Crackpot gets Uno reverse carded instead. Not gonna lie, this surprised me, but I was kinda disappointed I didn't get to fight the guy. Moving to the boss room, Crippins beats the shit out of the Baron. Hey, not so bad for an old man. But wait, Crippins was actually the Baron in a mask, Scooby-Doo style. I mean, I'm a fan of a twist, but this really makes no sense. It was never even foreshadowed. It just kinda came out of left field. I mean, usually a twist has some sort of setup, or reason, or something. Come on, Rare, you can do better than this. Now let's talk about the final boss. It's laughably easy. Fun, but way too easy to be a final boss. You basically just need to smack the Baron to get his cane, which is the only thing that can damage him. After whittling away about 1/3 of his health pool, he'll go don a plane suit and begin to fly around his room. I love this. It's ridiculous and goofy and tons of fun. Speaking of which, when the humor in this game lands, it's great, and other times, not so much. The Baron will charge you with his plane, and after he hits an object, it leaves him open for an attack. After you damage him, he'll also summon some Ghoulies you have to fight before he can resume his attack pattern. You know, standard boss fight stuff. You can basically cheese the fight though by breaking his desk and keeping it between you and him. When he only has 1/3 of his health left, you get the can gun, and the mechanics basically just stay the same. When you beat the Baron though, you'll be treated to a timed challenge. You'll give him 15 minutes to run through the mansion, freeing all the children, facing a few challenges along the way. Don't even worry about the timer. I finished the thing with plenty of time left, and I was even going for all the collectibles throughout it. Finish that and you'll find yourself in the courtyard ready to leave, but oh no! The most pushover enemy in the game ambushes you and knocks you out cold and tears apart Mr. Ribs. No, not Mr. Ribs. He was innocent. Time for Ma to take revenge with her massive fucking spoon. Ma saves the day and everyone says their heartfelt goodbyes. Roll credits. After sitting through all those credits, it takes you to a scoring system basically telling you how well you did during your run. I love this. It gives a reason to replay the story other than grabbing all the collectibles, which, to be fair, is a reason on its own. As you can see, I'm a real gamer and I always get high scores. But let's talk about those collectibles. Scattered throughout the game, there are these blue rare books, one for every one of the 100 rooms to be exact. Some of these are hidden pretty well, or even inside of an enemy. Every 5 unlocks a bonus challenge accessible from the title screen. I really recommend going for all 100. The additional challenges are a fucking blast. And achieving a platinum medal in some of these is actually really challenging. If you need help, there's a couple of strategy guides floating around online. But if you score at least a gold medal in every challenge, it unlocks Challenge 21. This is a timed, brutally hard version of the main story where you play as the better Cooper, Amber. This mode locks you at 10 health for every stage and eliminates all the soups, meaning you get no help and you don't exactly have the health to make any mistakes. I really recommend giving this a try. It's super fucking challenging. I wasn't even able to finish it due to that fucking Amber boss fight. The one downside of this mode is you have to do the whole game in one run. You can pause it and leave your system on to come back to it, but there's no saving your progress when you exit. Fortunately, it removes all the cutscenes, so you can kind of fly through the game pretty quickly. And that was grabbed by the Ghoulies. I highly recommend you pick this game up. Whether it's a standalone copy through Rare Replay or dusting off a copy from your attic, this game is a blast and it really doesn't deserve the harsh criticism leveled against it. I'll give Grabbed by the Ghoulies a B.